All right, so a little bit of an overview of what I'm going to talk about, and leaving a lot of time hopefully for Q&A to address specifics, but going to talk briefly about what is anxiety and what are some signs of anxiety. What are some strategies we can use to prevent our anxiety from getting too out of hand or too uncomfortable? And then what do we do if we are faced with anxiety? If we're not preventing that and our anxiety is becoming a bit unmanageable, what can we do? Next slide, please. All right. So I want to highlight first that we should all remember that anxiety is a natural response, and particularly a natural response in response to something like a pandemic or a really novel, uncertain situation, and that anxiety really does serve an adaptive purpose in terms of why it was developed as part of our human repertoire. So we think about anxiety as a means of alerting us to some danger and going into what we think of as flight or fight as a protective function. But then in our day-to-day lives, and particularly thinking about this pandemic situation, having a little bit of anxiety about the situation motivates us to do things like remember to wash our hands or remember to be mindful of how close we are to other people. And so it really is a productive thing, and I think it's okay to accept that we are going to feel a bit of nerves and uncertainty at times like this. I like this graphic on the left showing how the physiological response that happens when we experience anxiety begins, when certain neurotransmitters are released in our body and it peaks, and then it really does come down. That is the physiological nature of anxiety. So thinking about it like a wave and thinking about how we may not be able to stop the wave, but we can learn to surf, right? We can ride that wave and know that our anxiety is going to lessen and we are going to feel better. And this helps us to reframe and remember that we can learn to tolerate some situations that make us feel a little bit uncomfortable and that it's okay. Next slide, please. So we know that anxiety does occur at higher rates in our autism population. So whilst it is, a normal reaction for a lot of people in this situation with COVID-19, it may be a heightened experience for our ASD population. And so, that could be for a number of reasons. That could be because this population tends to have more difficulty with changes and uncertainty and unpredictability, right? So this falls directly into that category. Social demands and language demands create anxiety about those types of situations. So those are some reasons that anxiety might be heightened in this population. So what are we looking for? What are the signs that someone we are caring for or close to or working with might be experiencing anxiety? Well, some of us might voice worries, right? It may directly come up that we're feeling worried about, catching a disease or whatnot, or repetitive questioning about things might be a sign that this is something that is really on somebody's mind and they are worried about. But then some individuals may not be able to voice those concerns or have the emotional recognition that they are feeling anxiety, right? So we might look for physical signs instead. So that could be changes in sleep patterns, could be disturbed, eating patterns could be disturbed. You might see fast breathing or redness in the face or, a tendency to be tense. Those types of physical signs can also be indicators. And then behavioral changes. So we might see somebody really avoiding a certain situation because it causes anxiety, or in our individuals with autism, those comforting sensory seeking behaviors might increase. So we might see more pacing behaviors or more rocking behaviors or things like that. And we also might see more problem behavior. So the unpredictability can lead to irritability and uncertainty, and that can in turn lead to, aggression or tantrums or whatnot. So all things to be thinking about, could this be a sign of underlying anxiety? Next slide. Thank you. So thinking about those preventative strategies that can help us better prepare to face times like these, One big thing is having a routine. And this graphic is a little bit of an overview of what I'm going to talk about in terms of having those routines and providing some structure and building in some things that we know are going to help us cope. So on the left, thinking about things that were pre-COVID, right? So trying to keep the same sleeping and waking times that we had before, remembering to get dressed, even if we're at home all day. Those things help us feel a little bit more normal, right? I'm going to talk a little bit more about limiting media exposure, just because that can cause a lot of anxiety when you're constantly taking in news about this type of situation. And if you're a family and you're at home and you're working from home and your child is doing school at home, having having some designated spaces for where you're going to have your workspace set up, even if it's a corner of a room, and even if your child's homework space or virtual school space is a little bit makeshift, trying to create some of those boundaries of normalcy can be really helpful. And then on the right, thinking about coping strategies, things to build into our schedule. So when we're thinking about our day or our week, making sure we have time for social connection with family and friends, whether that's virtually, exercise, because we know that that promotes healthy development and can alleviate anxiety, and then some of the relaxation strategies that might be particularly helpful if you're feeling anxious. I'll talk a lot more about those. And when we're building this schedule, we know that we want it to be realistic and flexible. So we want to be okay with the fact that it might be that we're accomplishing about 75% of what we normally accomplish, right? So if that's where your bar is right now, set your schedule up to reflect that. Be okay with doing 75% right now. And that way, you're not having to constantly move things off of your schedule to the next day. That said, if you do have to move one thing from one day to another, be flexible too. Give yourself a little space in all of this. And then we know that it can be really helpful for our individuals with ASD to make things pretty visual and concrete. So thinking again about developmental level, and I'll share some specific examples of how we can, whether that be a written checklist or pictures or objects that we need to really show what the schedule is, being clear about that. Next slide, please. Thank you. So revisiting the concept of being mindful about our media intake and our bedtime routines. So knowing that, about an hour before bed, we should really be winding down. Screen time is not good for your brain turning off and going into that restful mode. So limiting that, having good sleep hygiene, and then really thinking about not being on social media or on news coverage about COVID-19 in that hour before bedtime, because when you think about how that can get your mind going and the anxious thoughts that might spin out of that, it's really just not a good time for that. So if you feel that you want to stay up to date with what's going on, which is completely credible and understandable, maybe build in some time for yourself during the day, thinking about maybe it's first thing in the morning, 15 minutes, checking the news, maybe it's at the end of the workday or whatnot when you're taking a break, but really be mindful about how much time you're spending and choose credible sites. And then for sharing information with children in particular, or individuals who might misinterpret something on the news, maybe having the news off, like on the TV, just being careful about what is available for consumption for individuals who might not understand, and then choosing to share with them in a way that makes sense developmentally. So we think about social stories, which are graphics that pretty clearly spell out, how to handle things like, and why it's important, I should say, to wash our hands or to provide others personal space, and make it really concrete and clear in a story format of, what we should be doing. All right, next slide. Thank you. And then another consideration when you are building a schedule, this is something that I think is pretty helpful and known for our individuals with autism, that that rigidity and the difficulty with change and unstructured situations can be pretty challenging. So these are just some examples of ways to make things pretty concrete and structured. So if someone is really stuck on a particular interest, like video games, and wanting to play them all day in their new unstructured, at-home life, thinking about how do we use that intense interest as a motivator. So first we complete this less preferred activity, then we move on to the really preferred thing. Choice boards can help with giving some ideas about what to do during unstructured times, and visual timers that show how much time we have left to complete something can be really helpful for moving from one task to another. And it's really important that we involve the individual who we're creating these things for. So if it's for the whole family or one person, involve everybody, right? Next slide. I just want to touch briefly on this. Physical activity is really important, but we did have an entire webinar on that last week. So I want to direct you guys to that link at the top. Marty Block did a great webinar about how we can stay active and reduce stress. So, and he really highlights some of these things like how we can get outside, some online exercise options, things like that. So I encourage you to check that out at that link. We'll go to the next slide. And then I mentioned in my overview, prioritizing social connection. So this is actually a time that we could build in a new routine to connect with people that maybe we don't normally connect to. So family that's across the country, maybe this is an opportunity to have a once a week FaceTime with them, or something like that. Or if you're on a work Zoom call all day and you're sick of the screen, maybe you just go outside for a walk and call somebody. Because you don't want to do another virtual hangout, right? But, for those of us who are able to talk about our emotions and talking helps, that this is something that we can do, connect with people we care about and trust and confide in them. But if somebody is making us anxious, feel okay to set some limits on how much you talk to them, or be direct about what you want to discuss. I don't want to discuss COVID-19 right now. And then for our kiddos who, these video platforms might be new to them, or individuals who just haven't used these things before, it can be helpful to have some structure in thinking about, okay, so how do I make a FaceTime call to grandma, or what are the rules for this Google Hangout? Do I talk, what are the social rules, right? Do I wait for my turn to talk? Do I talk over other people? And so again, social stories can be a really helpful visual way. And there are some existing ones out there already that have been created in this unique time to teach these type of skills. So it's a great opportunity to actually monitor and take advantage of practicing some of those electronic safety and social skills. Next slide. So now thinking about what can we do if we are experiencing some anxiety, or our children are experiencing anxiety, or somebody we work with or care about is. So I mentioned before that schedule, thinking about the things that are really soothing for us and building those in. So, it really depends, adult, child, but reading, drawing, music, journaling, doing yoga early in the morning, those can all be something that's helpful, right, as part of our day to provide us structure and a break from everything else that's going on. And then another strategy that can be helpful is guided muscle relaxation. So at the end, I do have a link to, there are a lot of videos online, but it just walks you through how to kind of shut off your mind and focus more on tensing and relaxing the specific muscles in your body. And that physical grounding can really help with alleviating anxiety. So that's one strategy. And whatever our strategy is that we use, we want to be sure that we explicitly teach. So if we're teaching somebody who doesn't have a lot of coping strategies already, if we're teaching those things, so if that might be, teaching deep breathing, or teaching to close your eyes and count to 10. If we're teaching those things, we want to do so pretty explicitly, and we want to make these strategies really automatic. So that means that we have to practice them. A lot of times it's easy to just think you're going to use your strategy when you get into the moment, but when you're really anxious, it's hard to remember what your strategy is unless you practice. So if someone is really anxious, I would encourage them to make time in their day, like maybe before bedtime, to practice these strategies. And then another thing can be kind of a coping space or a coping toolkit. And this can be for kids, but it can really be for anybody. So, you know, I've got the little calm zone graphic there. You can decorate this space. You can put things in it that are calming for that particular individual. It can be stress balls. It can be soft objects, stuffed animals. It can include a key ring with cards that show strategies that that person uses, like deep breathing or closing their eyes and counting to 10. And I like to use the phrase calm and return just to ensure that this place does not become a place that somebody goes to avoid something, because we talked about how avoiding anxiety actually makes it worse. So calm and return emphasizes that this is a break from what we were doing that caused anxiety, but we are going to go back to that task. And we can go to the next slide for some visuals. So these next couple of slides have a bunch of visuals on them that can be helpful in making things really concrete for individuals with autism who may have a harder time even recognizing their own emotions. So this first visual is about using a scale from 1 to 5 to think about what is my level of anxiety, with a 1 being not very high and a 5 being very high. And so it's a nice way of organizing thinking about if I'm at a 5, what does that feel like in my body? What are the body signs? Is it, you know, fast breathing, increased heartbeat? And then what do I do in that situation? What's my coping strategy? So using that scale can be a nice concrete way to check in with people about where they are in their level of anxiety. Go to the next slide. On the left, we've got some of examples of something that could go on a key ring of strategies. So, you know, blowing out a candle. Sometimes you'll see one that's pictures of sniffing a flower and blowing out a candle, alternating as a way of showing how to do deep breathing. Those visuals are out there and pretty readily available on the internet. And then on the right is something for an individual who, you know, just needs a checklist and as a reminder of what do I do when I need to calm down. Go to the next slide. And then thinking about the connections. So, you know, one thing in autism that can be really hard and is a little bit of a difference in when we treat anxiety in the population that doesn't have autism, we're often talking about thinking about our thinking and trying to combat our negative thoughts. And that can be really challenging in autism. So we can do this with, you know, I wouldn't recommend it with a young child necessarily, but with some of our older individuals who are a bit capable of recognizing what is my negative thought, I just like to write it down. So using visuals like writing on a whiteboard or writing on a piece of paper and creating that visual is really helpful when we're talking about counteracting negative thoughts. So the basic premise is that our thoughts, feelings, and actions are connected. Our thought might be, I'm really afraid I'm going to get COVID-19 if I go to the grocery store. Our feeling might be that we're really worried, and our action might be that we choose to never leave the house, right? But those things are all interconnected and they all influence each other. And the idea is that our worried feelings can be changed both by our actions and by our thoughts. So we often evaluate how realistic is the thought. And so that can be a little bit challenging, but writing it down makes it a little bit easier. So what is the evidence for and against the thought? We can call it fight back with facts, right? That's one thing that we might use with kids. And you might do a little bit of fact finding. So you might find reputable sources with that person and accumulate some facts for and against, like, is this thought realistic or is it not realistic? What are the odds of this happening to me? And that can often provide a nice visual framework for thinking about, okay, this is actually unlikely to happen to me. And you can then come up with some reassuring types of statements. And I often write them down for that person to refer back to. And another concept that's helpful is control versus no control. So some of these things we don't have control over, right? So making it really visual, again, what are the things I can control? What are the things I cannot control? And then reiterating that we come back to what can we control, because that makes us feel a little bit more safe. So an example of something we can control is washing our hands or wearing a face mask or what have you, but we can't control other people or things like that. So that can help kind of focus what our strategies should be on what we can control. And then I wanted to touch briefly on, self-care for parents of individuals with autism and parents in general, really. So it's really a lot to be juggling right now, and it's important. That can be really anxiety producing. So it's important to prioritize your own needs. It's important to build in screen breaks for yourself. If you're working on a screen all day, me time, even if it's 10 minutes, if it's a long hot shower or a walk, is important. We can rely on other people who are also in the same position, right? That social connection. And then it can be challenging to prioritize, your family has a lot of different needs. They might be competing and they're all at home. So you can make it visual with a calendar showing who's going to get to do what when, and if something gets changed, cross it out and make sure it's on the calendar for later to show that it is still going to happen, right? That reassurance. And then lastly, just a reminder that it's okay, right, in this situation to accomplish less than we normally would. It's okay if we make mistakes. And if people are really anxious, it can be helpful to write that down, write down the things that you want to focus on and put them on your mirror or write them in your journal or, whatever works for you. But that's kind of the broad concept. And then these are just some additional resources. The first one, the Autism Drive, has a lot of nice resources that I mentioned, things like social stories. There's COVID-19 specific resources. There's a lot of autism resources more broadly than that. And then at the bottom are just a couple of examples of things. I like the Zones of Regulation curriculum for teaching emotional understanding in kids with developmental disabilities. There's a progressive muscle relaxation video, bubble breathing. And the Anxiety Canada website is not geared toward individuals with autism. It's an anxiety website, but it has some really nice videos that provide nice graphics and explaining what anxiety is. So it's a good website. So I will stop there.
Thank you, Erica, so much for that great presentation. We have a lot of really compelling questions coming in from our participants. And the first one is from a parent describing difficulties discussing with a 6-year-old why we can't go back to school right now. It says he doesn't understand and keeps asking to go back. Can you recommend a resource or a way to explain it in a way that he can understand it a little better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good question because his routine has been really disrupted, right? And I think that's probably not an uncommon problem. I think thinking about, there are some resources out there if you've already had the conversation about sort of what's going on more broadly. I think explaining first that, we are using some of the social stories type of resources to explain what COVID-19 is. And at 6, maybe we're talking about, thinking about using words like, there are germs or for safety and things like that, but trying to utilize the social story approach and connecting it to school. So I haven't seen one that specifically says, like, there's a lot of the social stories that are linked to on the Autism Drive have good explanations of why it's important to wash our hands and why it's important to give other people space. So I think if you could use one of those stories and then move into, we're not going to school right now because of these things, right? So explicitly laying out, like, at school, we're really close to lots of other kids and germs could spread, and making something something that's a little bit concrete and visual so that you can come back to that when those questions arise, and maybe even making it like a little bit of a drawing project where your child helps you, write it out, but giving yourself some kind of visual to come back to address those questions as they keep coming up, I think would be helpful.
Yeah, thank you, Erica. We are about to close the poll, so last call. If you want to vote, you can do that now. And it will publish shortly, and we can look at the results there. Yeah, it looks like uncertainty about the future is the biggest response. That makes a lot of sense.
It does. I think we can all relate to that. And I think for me, one of the things that is most helpful, and I already mentioned, is just thinking about the control versus no control. And, it's something we can use with young children, but it's really applicable to adults too. So thinking about what exactly, if we can identify what is our worry about the uncertainty of the future, and then coming up with things related to it that we can control. So if we're worried about, ever being able to go back to school, well, we can control doing our schoolwork at home, or we can control, certain things about our day that relate to that, but we can't control what our school district is going to decide, right? So once you get that sort of visual list of what can I do and what can I not do, and then emphasizing that we're going to focus on these things, provides a nice behavioral framework for where to redirect when uncertainty continues to come up. And I think that's true for kids and adults, for people who are, if there's uncertainty about job security right now, right? Like having, what can I control? I can have a backup plan. What can't I control? A lot of variables with the economy, right? So thinking about what we can and can't do seems like one good strategy, and then using those coping strategies for calming ourselves down if we are really anxious.
Absolutely. A related question that came in talking about that coping strategies is, helping children and adults with ASD. How can we help them let go of thoughts and ideas that they might be obsessing over?
Yeah, that's a good question. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the chat box. So how can we help them let go of thoughts that are really repetitive and they're ruminating on? So I think one way of doing that is making some of these things visual and then redirecting back to the visual. So if they're really repetitively worried about catching, making a comment about catching germs, and you're at home and you've made a visual about, all the ways that we're safe at home, instead of engaging in a verbal back and forth again about that specific situation, referring back to the sort of written document or graphic you've created with the child or individual, and using that as a way for them to go back and review their social story about what they should do in this situation, instead of you having to have that conversation, and then prompting them to use some coping strategies if they need to.
Absolutely. Yeah. And one of the things that you talked about was self-care, and having caretakers and parents really take time for themselves to be able to be there for our family members. One of our parents asked, since most day support programs are closed right now, can you suggest any support strategies to help caretakers stay calm during this pandemic?
Yeah, so caretakers are at home, with these individuals and are needing to stay calm. And I think just relying on the things that work for you. So building in some time for yourself where you can, but also working to remain calm in situations with that individual. So if they see that you are calm, that's easier said than done, right? But one way of ensuring that you're more likely to stay calm is to build in some time for self-care and some time for exercise. And maybe that's the whole family, right? Because obviously you only have so much time to yourself, but building in that time and really trying to provide structure, I think, is the most important thing. These individuals are used to having pretty structured days, most likely. And so we're going into a really different environment. And so trying to keep as much consistent as we can and trying to make it visual. It's a little bit more work up front for sure, but I think it helps keep everybody a little bit more sane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, thinking ahead to the things that we don't know how all of this is going to play out, to the transition back to whatever normal looks like after all of this. How, for the children that have a difficulty going back to school after just a couple of days on a weekend, how can we think ahead to help people, start to reacclimate to school in a normal routine once all of this is over?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know what it's going to look like, but I would anticipate that some of the things that we would recommend, like under normal situations to help with transitions, might help. So, going back to school. So maybe there's a time when restrictions have eased, but school hasn't started in full yet. So you can visit the school grounds, even if it's only outside. But reminding kids of like, hey, this is where I go to school. And then we can do a little bit of that again with social stories, right? So, preparing them and going over a little story with them, having them help illustrate it even, what's going to happen, laying out what they should expect to the extent that we can, and then being honest about like, we don't know. So maybe in your social story, there's like, we're going to go back to school soon, but question mark, like that might be next week or it might be in 3 weeks. So that makes it a little bit visual that we're going to have to be flexible, which provides some predictability, but it's not making a promise that we can't keep, but thinking about how to make it predictable and planned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. We have a couple of questions coming in about service options. So I know there's some service options that we have at the Curry School of Education that are currently available. Could you share any resources that might be available for telehealth to continue those types of services?
Yeah, I mean, the ones I'm most familiar with are the ones that we are providing out of our Curry School of Education clinic, which is the Sheila Johnson Center. And so, we often serve families from pretty far and wide for diagnostic autism assessments, but then we aren't able to provide treatment services because families aren't local. But the nice thing right now is that we are seeing some of those families for telehealth treatment services. So we are offering parent training for challenging behavior. It's a pretty structured evidence-based program we do. We have some individual and therapy services for children and adults with autism as well that have gone online. And it's just been a case-by-case determination between the provider and the family to figure out if that's a good fit. I know there are some speech and language services that have gone online. I know that UVA Hospital is also still offering some telehealth services. Beyond that, I'm not really sure, but those are some options for people if they're interested.
Sure. And what about any resources that you might know about or tools or curriculum that can help support ABA therapy at home?
Yeah, so one of the things that can be helpful is actually the parent training program that we are running. So there are other options for this, but the parent training program we're running is called the Ruby Parent Training Program. It's an evidence-based program that's based on principles of ABA, and it's designed for children who have aggression or tantrums or noncompliance kind of associated with their difficulties with autism. And it really teaches parents to understand some of the basic principles of ABA. And I know that other ABA providers are also offering ABA virtually that's kind of a similar model, more of a parent coaching type of model if they're not still providing in-person services. So I don't know specific ABA providers off the top of my head, but our family navigators are really helpful with stuff like that. So, and have started to amass a knowledge. So we can certainly connect people with, if you're interested in the parent training program we're doing, or an ABA provider who's doing telehealth, that's also an option. We can connect people.
That's great. Thank you. A question in reference to one of the 1 to 5 scale that you shared previously. How would you adjust that if an individual has limited speech and low IQ? How can we help address what the anxiety level might be if that scale isn't suitable for use?
Mm-hmm. So if we're talking about an individual who would not potentially understand, I mean, it would be hard to use a scale with an individual who doesn't understand numbers. So you may not use that type of scale. One thing that is helpful, I referenced the zones of regulation curriculum. So a different way of thinking about it for really young children is, one thing that's nice about that curriculum is it uses colors. So the green zone is I'm calm. The yellow zone is I'm feeling frustrated. The blue zone is I'm depressed or anxious. And there's lots of nice visuals of like facial expressions and practice with linking how we're feeling to it. And the red zone, I should mention, is like angry or very upset.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it really concrete. And I think it's a little bit easier than, you'd want somebody to be able to identify those things first before we might necessarily move to a scale. But then once you have that basic emotional like just identifying what the feeling is, then we start to think about, there's nice visuals for 1 to 5. And then with, an older individual, you can use 1 to 10 or 1 to 100, or get as specific as you would like. But yeah, I think we have to start with just identifying what the emotion is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This question just came in that I think really applies to all of us, including, children on the spectrum, but really everybody. Much of what we hear about what's going on in the world, the message is repetitive. When does the saturation or the tipping point happen, both for children on the spectrum and for the people that support them?
Mm-hmm. So the question is, when is the saturation point? Like, when is it too much?
When do we know that enough information, enough news is enough? It's time to step away from it.
Yeah. When is enough news enough? I mean, my perspective on that is being a little bit in touch with your emotional response, but I think it's good for everybody to think about how much of this coverage is really productive. We want to stay in touch with the facts, but that can really happen from a quick scan of the news first thing in the morning. And it's not the end of the world if, we wait till the end of the day, or if you're somebody who's having a lot of anxiety just based on reading the news and limiting it is not enough, maybe you decide to not read the news and have somebody you trust let you know if something, really important is going on. But I think to the question of like, when are we at too much, if you start to notice that you're feeling more tense, or that you're feeling that you're having trouble sleeping at night because you wake up thinking about really anything, I think could be, an indicator. But obviously if you're waking up thinking about COVID-19, that's an issue. And if you're waking up thinking about work, maybe that's an issue that you're stressed out. And so being mindful of these cues, and in children, some of the, behavioral signs that we talked about before, that problem behavior might be linked to this, or, irritability, are all indicators that maybe we're at our limit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Erica, so much for all the information. It's been really helpful. I'm going to turn it back to Faye Painter. And thank you, everyone, for participating in the chat. We got far more questions that we could get to in our time today, and we hope we'll be able to address them with our follow-up materials. Thanks again.